Directed by Nacho Vigalondo, Timecrimes takes us on a chilling journey deep into the dark, twisting folds of time itself, where curiosity and fate collide in a deadly dance. Picture a quiet, seemingly peaceful afternoon in the Spanish countryside. Hector, an ordinary man with an ordinary life, is spending time at his home with his loving wife, Clara. They are renovating their house, preparing for a brighter future. But that calm is shattered forever the moment Hector peers through his binoculars and spots something both mysterious and unsettling. A young woman, disrobed and vulnerable, moving stealthily in the shadowy woods nearby. Compelled by a mixture of curiosity and unease, Hector's grip tightens on his binoculars as he decides to investigate this strange scene himself. What starts as innocent curiosity soon spirals into a nightmare that will unravel his very existence. As Hector steps into the dark forest, the atmosphere thickens with suspense. Suddenly, he finds the young woman lying motionless on the dirt. Is she hurt, unconscious, or worse? Before he can react, a chilling figure emerges from the shadows. A man with his face cruelly wrapped in bloody bandages, eyes wild with desperation and menace. With cold precision, the bandaged attacker plunges a blade deep into Hector's arm, drawing blood and panic. Hector flees, his heart pounding, seeking refuge in a nearby strange building filled with humming machines and flickering screens, a scientific hideout shrouded in mystery. A scientist's voice crackles through a walkie-talkie, warning Hector about the relentless bandaged man chasing him and urging him to hide inside a large, ominous machine. With no other choice, Hector climbs inside, and then the impossible happens. The machine roars to life, and Hector is hurled back through time, traveling an entire hour into the past. Suddenly, two Hectors exist on the same timeline, the original man and this new, time-traveling version. The scientist warns this second Hector, "Don't interfere, don't change anything." But human nature refuses to obey such cold commands. Driven by fear and confusion, Hector too races toward his home, only to crash his car violently, knocking himself unconscious briefly. Upon awakening, he wraps his head in the same bloody bandages he's seen before. A terrifying realization dawns. He is the bandaged man. Now trapped in a vicious causal loop, Hector too desperately tries to recreate the timeline exactly as he remembers. He coerces the young woman to undress again in the forest, hoping to lure his past self to the scene. Panic consumes her, and in a harrowing stumble she falls down a slope, her life extinguished. Unwavering, Hector too sets the morbid scene for Hector 1 to find, forcing events to repeat like clockwork. When Hector 1 arrives, the bandaged attacker strikes again and the chase resumes. But the nightmare doesn't end there. Returning home, Hector 2 accidentally frightens Clara. In a tragic twist of fate, she loses her balance and plunges from the roof to her death. Grief-stricken and guilt-ridden, Hector 2 begs the scientist for one more chance, a final trip back in time to undo the horror he caused. But the time machine spits out a third Hector, who warns of catastrophic consequences if these temporal loops continue. He pleads with the scientist to stop the cycle, but Hector 2's desperation overrides reason. The third Hector assumes control, forcing Hector 2 into the bloodied bandages and driving him to recreate the painful loop once again. In a calculated move to protect his real wife, he locks Clara safely away, then disguises the young woman by cutting her hair and dressing her in Clara's clothes. When Hector 2 encounters this disguised girl, she flees. And fate repeats cruelly. She falls from the roof, dying in Clara's place. The cycle ends, but at a heartbreaking cost. The timeline remains unbroken, trapped in a paradox where tragedy can shift victims but not erase itself. Timecrimes is a masterclass in tension, a complex puzzle where every desperate attempt to break free only binds Hector tighter to his doom. It is a story that explores the terrible price of curiosity and the merciless grip of fate, reminding us that some horrors are inevitable, that time may be a prison, not a path to salvation. If stories of dark, twisting time loops fascinate you, if you hunger to unravel cinematic mysteries, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into films that challenge our perception of reality.